Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Coming to you almost live from Fort Gardis in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, it's the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 153. It is September 24th, and I'm your host, Bill. Spoiler alert, I'm going to need a new address. Costello, and with me today,
all the way from the remnants of Truth Break, it's Joshua. I didn't get my freaking Trug alt.
You're foreshadowing so many things like After Dark, and I know, but I also spoiled some stuff. So, in case you didn't notice, we're going to be covering Harbingers Book 2. That came out yesterday. Reign of the Brute. Wow.
And we're not talking about the champagne. We are talking about as, giant destruction guys, right?
I'm telling you what, man, between the Trogs and orcs and the giants, there's some stuff in this book.
Yeah.
Man, it's good.
They inadvertently made sons be able to teleport their entire army, didn't they? As soon as I read that, I was like, did I read that correctly? Then I was like watching, some commentary on it, and someone's like, yeah, that's what that happened. So I was like, okay, guess I was right.
Yeah, I heard something about that, and I was like, I discounted it because I didn't see it. I didn't see that. And then, yeah, oh my God. Well, give sons a chance. Make sons great again. Teleporting giants. Okay, I'm down. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of. They walk up to a terrain piece. One guy does this weird flip over it where he's grabbing it as he does so. Mm-hmm. As he picks it up on the other side, launches his two buddies where they need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wacky. We'll get into more of what that actually means when we get to Dawnbringer's Book 2.
Yeah. We're also going to cover the battle scroll that came out for September. Yeah. There's some interesting changes in here. Some very meaningless, but some, and then we'll get into the points a little bit, but wow.
Yeah.
A lot of internal faction balance point changes. But yeah, it's going to be, it's a full show. Thank God they didn't, New Dawn is pretty much junk. So, because we're going to spend some time.
Yeah, because we've also been busy the last 3 weeks. So.
I know. But before we get into the meat of it, I do want to mention, if you're looking at White Dwarf 492, our local store, was featured as the featured bunker in this issue. So, yeah, our store manager got his 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, it was more like 14, I think, but, because they only give him 2 pages.
That's true, but,
And for all you out there, I know you've already seen it, but you're fortunate that my flesh skin Nurgle didn't make it into the book. I was hoping to gross out the entire world, but I'm sure that's why they didn't put them in.
I'm reasonably certain they thought not a thing for young children or adults with issues.
Is that a brown stain between? Oh God! Don't worry, I'll post them all for you again.
Yeah, you will. Okay, so shall we move on to New Dawn? Because that's going to take all of about a minute.
Let's do it.
All right, New Dawn. If you like 40K old terrain, yay. If not, crickets.
Yeah.
A couple of Knight Cerastus things. Crickets for AOS.
Total crickets for AOS, which is such a shame. I mean, we did just get a huge infusion. I mean, all the stuff that released this week with Big Pigs and the whole Iron Jaws line.
Yeah.
Switching up the Vanguard box. That way Cruel Boys has a Vanguard. It's really just the starter set.
And don't forget, a whole, literally, Iron Jaws battle tome released for free. Although it doesn't have quite all of the War Scrolls, but it has all of the updated and new War Scrolls. So it's kind of, that's the way it should be done, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I like how they expanded the Iron Jaws line. I think they cleaned up Ard Boys really well.
Yes.
And turned them into just a consistent battle line unit.
Yeah.
That's probably pointed appropriately. We can talk a little more about that later.
Yep.
Trug's Trog Herd, which I don't have a copy of in my hand because UPS decided to just all over themselves. I don't have to blame GW for this one because they shipped it.
Yeah.
In the appropriate time with the appropriate shipping, and then UPS just...
But there was a hurricane and a tornado and a wildfire and okay.
Yeah. All in one. It was crazy. They all mixed together and created this super... And it blocked the one truck, so it couldn't get to the store. And, anyway, so that's New Dawn. So hopefully News at 11 has us with something more. Oh, I will say too, the Rabble Rouser was also released.
Yeah.
That's an important release. The first of the Harbingers to get out of his box.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Very nice.
yeah.
All right, let's move on to creation. I will go first because it's easy for me. I literally walked into a situation where there was 125 Space Marine Intercessor models in a box with my name on it and a request to base coat and prime, or prime and base coat. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I don't pretend to know what's going on. So I base coated them and I primed them and then I base coated them and sent them back. It was weird. So I don't know why he wants 125 models, because he says he has a total of 375. I don't know what's going on with these monster. I know Chuck Moore out there in Virginia is doing 1,500 Space Marines. I don't know what all this monster Space Marine mash is all about, but maybe they know something we don't, and there's going to be like a prize for having the most. I don't know.
Well, it's funny because there's a little context missing there. It sounds like the box just appeared magically.
Yeah.
At some place you were, so I'm assuming you're at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Walk into the bathroom, and then there was just a box.
Yeah. Just with my
Bill,
name
I need
on
your
it.
help.
It's weird.
Right?
It's the weirdest thing. So, yes, zero context. In the building and painting, I do have an appointment coming up because I'm literally at the point now to where I can't hardly use this hand, my right hand, for anything. Just about my middle finger locks up all the time. They're pretty sure it's carpal tunnel and it's going to need surgery, but I got to go see the doctorator. So hopefully I'll get that on track and be able to get back to building and painting stuff, because literally I can use these two fingers and that's about it. Everything else is worthless. The thumb and the index finger. But I really want to get my NIDS done for the 40K combat patrol stuff. I'm thinking I want to work on the Tau, but I really want to build a Stormcast army. But all of these things I can't play computer games,
Oof.
Yeah. It's been annoying, to say the least. Getting old sucks.
Yeah, you should stop, I think.
I think I will.
Yeah.
I think I will.
So, here.
Anyway, let's move on to you, because you have a laundry list.
I did a lot of laundry this week. So I built and primed 6 rock guts. I'm just putting the finishing touches on the third of the first 3.
Okay.
I built 1 missing Fellwater, primed 6 Fellwaters.
Nice.
Finished painting my Loon Shrine, which is already up on Discord, which you all see. It is glorious. I love how it turned out. This is all going into we're doing an Age of Sigmar campaign coming up. Yeah. Andrew just has to play it close to the chest about what it's going to be for now. I was like, you know what? Trogs. Let's do this.
There you
go. Right? And originally I was going to be like, it'd be super fun, because I'd painted up 3 rock guts in like this frost kind of look.
Yeah.
Because I was using them as Yeti stand-ins, but I could still play them in, gets when I wanted to. And I was like, yeah, I'll do frost trolls. And then I was just struck. I was like, I could do like fall Halloween colors for these guys, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a poll on this. So I asked some friends who are in the hobby. I asked some folks who are not in the hobby. I showed them the models, showed them how I painted before. And I was like, but do you think they'd be cooler if I did them in like fall and Halloween stuff? And they're just like, yes.
Pumpkin spice. Yeah.
No one, not a single person said frost trolls. Not a one.
Wow.
No one said, no, I actually like that. No, I mean, like, it was all fall Halloween. So the 3 that I worked on so far. So I've got the 1 Trog, the rock gut, who's got the boulder over his head.
Yeah.
It's the one with the crystal formation coming out. So I painted that like a pumpkin.
Nice.
I painted his skin like black gray. I painted one that's like yellow, but like the rocky bits go up to like orangish red.
Yeah.
And the one I'm putting the finishing touches on is sort of pecan pie colored, which was pretty fun when I started to figure that out.
Nice.
I was like, let me try Nazdrag yellow, because it's like such a dirty yellow, right?
Yeah.
Did it over Wraithbone. So I did that. I was looking at it. Like, how do I want to do the rocks, right? Because it's always some type of a contrast to the skin. It's like, it's just snakebite leather over that.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay, I think it's starting to congeal in my mind, right? Like at first I was like, yeah, it just looks like, someone's going to say it looks like sand shrew. But when I actually started to like get the cream dry brush onto it and just start to differentiate the colors and all that, I was like, it's totally pecan pie.
Nice.
Then I have plans. So I'm going to have 2 units of 6. And so, I mean, I can always break them apart because they don't have leaders, right? But my thing is to have one of the pumpkin throwers, one yellow, like bright yellow up, one of the pecan pie. I'll have one that's red to orange to yellow. I'll have one that's orange to red and one that's orange to yellow.
There you go.
So that'll be like my 6 that I'll always do. So when I paint my next one, I've already got my paint palette already fully figured out. So that for the next one, the fell waters, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that kind of a variety with the fell waters because I'm doing 2 units of 3.
Yeah. So
I'll probably just one yellow, one orange, right?
Sure.
And I can mix them up if I feel so inclined. Yeah, so I also painted 4 Cador Walkers because we got the Necromunda League coming up beginning of October.
Nice.
I also painted up my Cherub Servitor with them.
Okay.
I'm using a Cador list that I built a long time ago. My Redemptionist Priest, who goes by Padre. I gave the all the priests Spanish names. Just a little Inquisition that no one expected.
Sure.
So he has the Servitor as one of his items, and so he gets that thing around to bodyguard him. I made him like for starting the game like pretty hard to kill. I didn't give him like a refractor field or anything, but he's got the Servitor, which is a bodyguard, and so I could just literally redirect the hits over to him. And then he has like Unyielding Faith, I think it is. So you can't coup de grace him, and he can fight when he's on the ground.
Okay.
Like with reactive attacks. It's just, it's going to be a fun little thing.
Hell yeah.
We have a bunch of new players coming into the fold, and they're all doing corpse grinder cults. And oops, I have template weapons, so it's going to be a good time for me. Anyone who doesn't have template weapons is going to be hurting.
Whoopsie.
Hurting. On the MCP side, I built and primed Rogue, Gambit, Emma, and Psylocke. I haven't painted any of the MCP models yet because I'm waiting to just figure out sort of my recipe, so to speak, for the like nether ones that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I just want them to look like shadows with one color that stands out the most. So once I figure that out, I'll probably whip them out in no time. Those models are so easy to paint.
They really are. They're so good.
I would have, and my plan was, if my truck came in, I was going to do this marathon build and paint. So I had a truck complete today that I can bring and be like, Bill, look how pretty.
Look at my truck.
But again, UPS failed us all.
Damn them.
So by the time you're hearing this, I should have truck.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'll have them fully painted because I'm not doing my insane,
24
hour go. Last time I did that, I painted a great unclean one. I was at a conference at the public defender's office. And then one day I was just like, I'm going to go buy a great unclean one. I'm going to paint it by the end of Saturday. This was Thursday night. So I picked it up. I built it all that night, but I didn't do any painting on it. And then because I had to go back to the conference the next day. And then after that, I just went home, and before the end of Saturday, I had a fully painted, great unclean one. I did special basing for it, everything. It was just the craziest marathon I've done, and I was going to do that for truck. But this gives me a chance to tease out my fall colors more.
There you go. Yeah.
And Bill's been so kind to provide me with like the coolest fall flocking I could ask for.
Yeah, I had some, but not as much as I thought I had.
Like this just looks like leaves.
That's just leaves.
It's just crushed up leaves.
Yeah.
Great.
I think
And then some coconut
fiber,
coconut
for the
fiber.
base.
Yeah, it's going to be very fall around here. Actually, it felt like fall yesterday here.
Didn't it?
It was crazy. When I was out in the sun, it was like, this is not a summer heat anymore.
No, it's actually nice. Worked more on the greenhouse yesterday, and it was actually pleasant to do that. So as opposed to, oh my God, I hate this.
Someone shoot me. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I had a lot of creation.
You did.
I've been very creative recently. Want to move to battle?
Sure. Might as well.
Hey, mine's real quick. I didn't do nothing.
Uh-oh.
I'm just getting ready for a bunch of things to happen. Get ready for some Cador and Trogs reports to be coming down the pike. But Bill, you've got games. Let's hear.
I do. I played some Shatterpoint games, which I'm embarrassed about because I didn't win a single one of them. Wow, I just got raffle stomped, and I used the Mace Windu, and just absolutely, the first game I used him so badly, it was horrible. Just didn't have the idea of how to work him yet. So now in the second game, I kind of had that aha moment. Oh, this is how he should go. Okay, cool. So got a lot better with him, but literally it was just a couple of 3 games in just to sort of get to know that group,
Yeah.
Mace Windu and the folks, and test out a different support group to see which one plays the best in with him. He's very, very good. It's not him, it's me.
In hindsight, how would you have played differently? Or do you think you could have taken those games if played differently?
I was nowhere near aggressive enough with him.
Yeah.
He really wants to get stuck in, but at the same time, you've got to support him. You can't just send him in to be a blender, because he won't. He'll go down. In the first game, when I did finally get him stuck in, by that point, he was on his own, and he just literally, he got whacked by, I think it was the two sisters, seventh sister and fifth brother. He just got blenderized, and half of that was the draw of the cards, which was very anti-Mace Windu. It was really hard for him, but had to see that coming. And it's one of the things in Shatterpoint is you have to play that game with a thought of when you make your move, it could literally be an entire round before you get to move that person again or even act with that person again. Oof. And if you leave them out there in the wind, they're done for. You have to be very, very careful with how you position and move. And I wasn't.
You don't leave them out in the window?
Oh, boy.
Oh.
No, wow.
Oh, it's been 3 weeks, folks. Sorry.
Yep. Then played a couple of MCP games, proxying the new core set Iron Man to be the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. and just changing up my S.H.I.E.L.D. roster completely. It was really funny because I was like, well, I'm just going to take out Nick Fury and put in Iron Man. And then you start looking at the synergies and you're like, that doesn't work. The commandos don't work. Okay, that doesn't work. And it ends up being an entirely new team with entirely new crisis selections. And it was a blast. Iron Man was, as the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., is so different. And it makes S.H.I.E.L.D. fun. As opposed, the S.H.I.E.L.D. with Nick Fury is very defensive. I squat on stuff and dare you to take it away from me with all of the weird stuff I'm going to do to you for it. Whereas with Iron Man, you can go full offensive, you can go defensive, you can have kind of like a wall crawler sort of motif if you want, because S.H.I.E.L.D., you have so many options.
Yeah.
For characters, you can pretty much build it the way you want, but I went with a large-scale energy attack. I tried to maximize beams and rerolls, and it worked really well. So,
what were you playing against in those 2 games?
There was the one young guy, Chris, over at Slice and Dice. He's not new to the game, but he's relatively new to the group. And we sat down and played the 2 games because he was also testing. He wanted to test the Cabal. So I was like, he really wanted to test Sinister Six, but he didn't have the models for it. I was like, I have them right here. It'll take me 10 minutes to go home and get them. Nah, let's just go with what we got.
You mean Spider Foes, right?
Yeah, Sinister Six.
They just need to rename that team when they release the rest of the Sinister Six so we can just get on with it.
Well, I mean, they do, because what's his name is coming out. Doc Ock is coming out as the leader of Sinister Six.
Oh, thank God.
So, yeah. And then the rest of them will drop later on. And those models look so good.
Sandman? Oh my God.
Sandman is so good. And then that hand that comes with him.
Yep.
Oh, God, I love it.
Yeah. Sandman. Electro's kind of a little stormy, so they didn't really go too far through. Shockers, a little crossbonesy, but Vulture looks sick.
Oh, they all look. I like them.
I just want Sandman straight up. I mean, I have Spider Foes, right?
Yep.
When I read that, I was like, why isn't it Sinister Six? And I was like, well, I guess we don't have all the members.
Yeah.
Now that that's going to drop,
Yep. It's going to be tight.
Question is, which Doc Ock model do you use?
Now that there's 3 of them, it's tough. It's hard because I actually like all of the poses. They're all kind of neat. So I like OG. I like the one from the panel, and I like the new one a lot. So we will see. We will see. In not quite anything to do with anything we've ever podcasted about, but I have always been an avid wargamer. And so not this last week, but the week before, agreed that in order to get some games in, we were going to play every night. We were going to play Monday through Friday night. So we wrapped up our Storm over Arnhem game. I was playing the Red Devils. course, trying to take the Arnhem Bridge in 44. Squeaked out a win just because he couldn't kill enough of me. I mean, the game is going to play out to where the Brits lose, but it's just the idea of the game is to not lose as bad as they did historically, and I guess I did that. Okay, so then we turned around and we played Ardennes 44 to replace the game that got blowed up. Don't even have a cat. It was just so screwed up that the game got destroyed. I ended up, because I was the Brits in the previous game, I was the Germans in this one, and I had just this amazing breakthrough on Bulge Day, and it was just nuts. I was just driving across the map, and I was like, holy crap, I'm going to instant win this game by like turn 5. I'm going to actually make the victory conditions. And then all of a sudden, just everything turned. Everything turned. And it was like, okay, well, I'm going to get just beat to death piecemeal here. Oh, well, I overextended and ended up paying the price for it. So ended up losing that one, but it was such a fun game. Such a fun game.
I don't understand most of the words you just said, but...
They're just both war games, and one of them is the Battle of the Bulge from World War II, and it's the Germans basically make a breakthrough in the Ardennes forest just like they did in 1940, but this time they're facing the Americans, and it's a whole different. The French in 1940 were not prepared for what they got. No. The Americans in 44 were. I mean, they didn't see this coming, but they were a lot more capable of dealing with it, and they did. Obviously, because we're here and we're not talking German. So, but just recreating it's a blast. And there's so many different war games that cover the Battle of the Bulge. And this one just happens to be our new favorite. So, yeah, had a good time with that. But that was all the battling I did.
It sounds good.
It was fun. It was fun. So let's go ahead and take a quick break because I got to change my shirt. And I got to see why the dogs are barking up a storm.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back and we'll start the lore with the battle scrolls.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you join us tonight for the news at 11.
And as the lady just said, it's time for the news at 11, and there is news. None of it AOS, but hey, it's Space Marines.
Space Marines?
Yes. So the Codex is finally here in, of course, 2 editions. One super cool Codex Space Marines limited edition and one scrub edition. And then a litany of model releases.
Oh, yeah. Like everything that they've talked about, all the resculpts, it's all here.
Everything ever. Captain with Jump Pack, which is, I like the way he's up on that, whatever it is he's up on, so that he's got a little airborneness to him. But what I really like is now they have the optional chain sword and power fist. You can now make your captain the way your captain should be captaining.
Yeah, and they have the different pistols too. So they got the plasma, bolt gun, and the flamer. Looking good.
Love kits like that because they just give you so many bits that you can use elsewhere, to make your lieutenants something. Just so much good stuff. All right, finally, Chaplain and Terminator armor. Oh, boy. Optionally with a relic shield. So you can now make any kind of Chaplain you want to include. I would imagine you can do the Blood Angel. Yeah, because with the shield and So now that you got the Crozius, life is good.
Company Heroes also being released. These models look so cool.
They do.
They actually do. I mean, that crazy heavy bolter, the pose with the flag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like these are some good sculpts for Space Marines.
One thing I don't like about the heavy bolter is the whatever that little tube that goes around the barrel is.
Mm-hmm.
It looks to me like a safety device. Would be removed by any self-respecting Space Marine. Like, oh, hey, look what came from the Munitorum. Okay, put all those into the workshop and get rid of that silly. They don't have OSHA in the Space Marines. So, an Adeptus Litigatus is not coming for us.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry.
Goodness. That's where most of the safety precautions come from, though. You have to realize that, Bill.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's always a reason.
Yeah, there's the lawsuits. It's wild. It's wild.
Some kid got burned on the barrel of a heavy bolter, so now we have to have this big... Anyway, I'm clipping it off. So next up is a Terminator squad, complete with their landing beacon. So, yay. Do love it.
Yeah, this one you actually get all the customizable bits.
Yes.
Pretty stoked for that. Bits. Jump Pack Intercessors flying on in. That's one of the things we talked about, I think, last time. I think Assault Intercessors
were
like, good.
Yes.
The problem was that they moved 6 inches. Well, you give them jetpacks, and I think they might actually do something.
Yeah, they're going to be a thing now. These guys will be a thing.
Exactly. They're going to be able to cap objectives super quick. They'll be able to just thrash any type of a screen that they've got set up.
Yep.
I'm liking these guys for flying over and squashing the gene stealer blips after you kill a unit.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be pretty good.
Lots of things these guys are going to be useful for.
The new Stern Guard kit, looking as Stern Guardy as ever. Any of them look like Malum Cato? Let's see.
Includes the brand new Pyre Cannon heavy weapon as a heavy weapon option. So front and center is the Pyre Cannon. So yes, please. Many salamanders will be equipped with said. Yes.
Everyone just has like a Pyre Cannon attached to them. It doesn't matter what their other weapons are. They're salamanders.
The problem is now I have to buy 5 boxes so that I can have them all with Pyre Cannons. Okay, that's not true. I won't do that. But
right.
Oh my gosh, and then a lieutenant. Yay. Okay.
I think this is the lieutenant that came in the box that the Brutalis came in, because it's the one I think that has all the options, right?
I think you are correct, because he's got the sawed off arm, he's got the different head. Yeah, I believe this is the guy that can do anything.
Yeah.
Intensely customizable, can be equipped classic power fist, plasma pistol combo to power swords, bolt rifles, or the dreaded pointing finger. Which, I'm sorry, but if you ask me, I personally love that pose.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like, all the lieutenants point at something, but no one knows what. So it's like, I see danger. This is why you're not a captain. God. Okay.
I have a joke about that when we get to After Dark. So, the Brutalis finally, dear God, here it
so beautiful.
is. I'm so excited for this.
Oh my God, just those. Oh, I love the claws. Absolutely love the top mounted bolters. Oh, yes, please sign me up. This guy is just bristling with heavy bolters, machine guns.
I'll need a few of those. Probably
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 for my Dreadnought list, because they just dropped points on everything and I'm trying to squeeze more stuff in.
Oh.
Hey-o.
Stop it.
Desolation Squad, after getting the Nerf bat, here they are. Are they going to just be in units of 5?
Okay.
Because that's what they are now. You can't take them in units of 10 anymore, but
Right.
are they still going to sell 2 sprues? Who knows?
And the Nerf, I hate the Nerf to them because they look so cool.
Yeah.
I really want them, but okay, I will.
You will.
Okay, and then they have a Combat Patrol Space Marine box now, which is I don't like the Combat Patrol for Space Marines. I really don't.
I don't like the rules on it. It feels a little too weak. Doesn't punch as hard as it needs to.
And it's just, it doesn't give you the flexibility that Space Marines should have.
Mm-hmm.
It's locking you into Terminators, and okay, whatever. But anyway, it comes with 5 Terminators, 5 Infernus, a Captain, and a Librarian.
Yeah, it's most of the half of the Space Marines in the starter box.
Yeah.
Or Leviathan specifically. So if you didn't get that stuff and you just wanted the Space Marines, I guess here it is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Librarian's been out for a minute. Infernus hasn't launched yet, though you can buy, like, the 2 or 3, whatever, in the painting box, and then you're just getting the new Termies. Next week, data sheet cards, Space Marines, and Space Marine dice set.
Yeah. So your cards and dice are coming. Yay.
Pretty excited for that. And check it out. Bill, they fixed the printer.
Oh, my God. Chapter approved Leviathan mission deck with 100% less errors, we hope.
At least 99%, right?
So for you, those of you that don't know, they released this Leviathan mission deck separate from the Leviathan box on launch day. And then they immediately took it off the shelves because so many cards were printed incorrectly.
Yep.
They had the wrong backs. They had the wrong information. They had mixed and matched information. They were wrong.
Yeah.
They were just wrong. So they yanked those off the shelves and told the managers to literally destroy them because they were so bad. And now they're back. So if you didn't buy the Leviathan box, but you want the really cool mission deck, which really is very cool.
Yeah, I'm very cool.
Yeah, here's your chance.
Here's your chance. Horus Heresy brings one of the best looking Praetors, Space Wolves Legion Praetor. That wolf shoulder piece, like, I know Space Wolf players would pay money just for that shoulder piece.
Just for the shoulder piece. Yep.
The axe in the right hand, also super clean. That's a really good look.
Except for the fact that the model itself is wrong.
Why is that?
Look at where he's grabbing the axe. With that so close to the head of the axe, he's going to have about a third of the power as if he was grabbing it from the handle.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure he'd put his pistol away and grab the axe two-handed.
I hope so, because right now I'd walk up to him and just hit him with a rock. Probably knock out. Knock him out.
I assume he can also adjust his grip on that axe.
I would hope.
Yeah.
But just, I hate it when they sculpt things like that. It's a miss. It's a miss.
Space Wolf heads for Mark 6. These ones look super clean.
They really do. They look really nice.
I really like those.
The 2 beaky hats, or 3 beaky hats, 4 or 5. They're all beakies. What am I talking about? This is Mark 6. Shut up.
We got there, Bill.
Yeah. I do. I kind of like the way they have the breather holes set up in the different sort of stylized wolfy way.
Yeah, like claws or teeth and all that. Yeah, that's pretty slick.
And, of course, the bareheaded guy, because, I'm in an incredibly toxic environment with stuff blowing up all around me, so I'll go helmetless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, bullets don't actually go through their heads for the most part, so.
Dodge this.
Right. Last cannon hits him, he's just like, spits, not enough gun.
Oh. You hit my stud.
Yeah.
All right, so in the...
Tactical stuff.
I love it.
Oh.
In the Black Library Department, so Guy Haley's Gene Father, finest minds in the Imperium have come together at the behest of Belisarius Call to unlock the secrets of the Necron Pylon Network and heal the great wound torn across the galaxy. This conclave of intellectuals is the greatest gathering of scientific genius in millennia. So naturally, a visionary like Fabius Bile must also be in attendance, whether he's been invited or not. So that sounds like a good Guy Haley book. Hate Fabius Bile, but we'll see what they do.
Hey, maybe they'll sort of fuse together and be like, Fabius Call or Belisarius Bile.
Belisarius.
So we get, but I think it's interesting, everyone knew this concept was going to eventually come out.
It had to happen. I mean, the 2 primary builders of things had to actually have a showdown at some point. I do like the way they're sort of hinting at, maybe there is a chance that the maledictum can be, fixed in some way and restore the sides of the Imperium. Although I really think that's a great plot device to have the galaxy split in 2 so that you can literally have different kinds of stories going on in different areas. But again, it does limit your options for the Xenos races who are now on the wrong sides.
Yeah.
So it would be neat to see if they are able to make a dent in it.
Okay, and they have the special edition version, which actually has a really cool cover.
Yes.
I do like that quote, which is apparently from the book. I'm only guilty of saving humanity. If that's the charge, I accept full responsibility.
Ooh, but which one said it?
Exactly.
Call or Bile? I love it. That's awesome.
It's a good one. Yeah, and so apparently the limited edition will be signed, too, by Guy Haley. That thing's going to sell in an instant.
It's, my Guy Haley story. I forgot where I was. It was either at the expo or might have been Nova, but he was there to sign books. And I walked up to the table and I had my book and I was like, hey, would you mind signing this? And he was like, yeah, I don't want to do it. I'm like, okay, I stood in line for nothing. And he's like, I've signed so many books. And it's weird because we had met. Oh, that's right. It was at Nova because we had met at the New Player Expo when we went that very first year.
Yeah.
And just for some strange, odd reason, Max and myself and what's his name just got into a conversation with that lady artist. And then Guy Haley came over and we were just talking. We were just sitting around, gabbing. And he's, really genuinely fun, nice guy. And I guess for some reason he remembered me a little bit. And he just was like, yeah, I'm going to screw with you. Yeah. Which is cool. It's all good.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a Flesh Terrors novel called Wrath of the Lost by Chris Forrester.
No one cares about flesh tears. Moving on.
Okay, moving on. Yeah, thank you. I don't want to have to read that. Dan Abnett's Only in Death, Gaunt's Ghost audio book. Thank you. Now we get into the fun stuff. Eisenhorn, the omnibus coming out in German. Very nice for our German readers. And then Pilgrims of Fire, or Wall of Farts de Furs. We got a little kick out of the title of that book because it is Wallfart.
Yeah.
I'm not being disgusting here. So I guess it translates in German to Pilgrim of Fire. So, and last but not least, the French edition of War Boss, which translates to Chef de Guerre. So, Chef of War. Weird. Okay. So that's what's coming up next week. A lot of really neat, I've been desperately waiting for Space Marines and going to be happy now because, you always want Space Marines to be good.
Yeah.
You always want to be able to play your Space Marines because they're stupid easy to paint.
Mm-hmm.
And, they should be good. Should.
Just a quick couple double taps on these. The yearly e-shorts are coming out for Age of Sigmar. And then Warhammer Plus, what I'm excited for, two things. Pariah Nexus Episode 2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, that first one was so good.
Yeah.
And then they're doing a masterclass, which looks like it's going to be painting flames on Space Marine shoulders. So, Yep, I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a Space Marine-y week. Kind of expected this to be coming. I think that anyone who's a big old fan of Space Marines is going to be dropping a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's the nice part about this is at least a lot of these things are available in other ways, so you don't have to break the bank. But quite literally, like the Dreadnought and the Terminators and what have you, and the Desolation Squad, you got to get them.
Yeah.
You got to have them. So spend that cash, people. That's what keeps GW in business. So that's what we're here for. Shilling for the company.
every damn day.
All right, let's move on.
Stormcast are cool.
All right, we're ready for the battle scroll for September 2023 and all of its changes and updates and interestingness and wow. So they changed Rupture.
Yeah, that was good. That was a really good thing. Just high level overview. I really like these changes. I feel like it does actually feel like a balancing.
Yeah.
Like it's a really good patch from before. Like the Rupture thing, like that's one of those weird, like how it was played before with Seraphon.
Yeah.
Right? It was one of those weird combos that you just really can't plan for, that someone just saw that and they're like, hee.
Yeah.
You know? And like, thank God. You know, I mean, all three spells were pretty freaking brutal. They really had to tone down Rupture in Merciless Blizzard, and thank goodness they did.
Yeah, they hit those both pretty hard, but not to the point to where you say Rupture is no longer going to be played. You really think?
I don't think it is. Like it feels like more of a like niche utility spell.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's a model that already has something like this on it. That's maybe when you use it, but I don't think you're gonna take up a slot for it anymore. I think if you were trying to pick between that and Hoarfrost, you're going Hoarfrost now.
All the time.
Yeah.
Because of all the spells that did not get changed, Hoarfrost did not get touched. Mostly because I don't think there's really anything wrong with it.
I agree.
It's very powerful, but everybody's got access to it. So it's not like, oh, well, I can't use it unless you're, Khorne. But really good changes. Merciless Blizzard cannot be cast by a unit that was set up or moved earlier in this phase. So, like you said, no more teleporting. Free, basically, BlizzWiz. I like that.
Yeah.
BlizzWiz. So, yeah, I like it. Really good changes to the overall rules for the spells.
Yeah.
Then we move on to the actual, what they did for the different factions. So for Grand Alliance Order, they gave Stormcast Eternals a new battle tactic, secure the battlefield. Again, they're doubling down on this. It's a sad play style for Stormcast when you're running from fights, just trying to do battle tactics. And the way this is worded, you complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if there are any friendly Stormcast Eternal units wholly within each large quarter of the battlefield and more than 6 inches from all enemy units. So once the game starts to get stuck in, you're not going to do that one.
Well, I think you can score that real easy. Turn one, you just lightning, like especially if you get second, on the die roll, then you just lightning down and like, oh hey, I just completed my battle tactic.
Yeah.
Hope for the double, and then you can move in and
Sure.
all that, right? I think the more interesting thing for Stormcast is when we get to the point drops. But
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So just a strange battle tactic. I don't know how often it's going to be used, but Lumineth Realm Lords, this is a weird buff to Enduring as Rock, because what they did was they changed Enduring as Rock to when this unit is targeted by an attack, worsen the rend characteristic of that attack by 1 to a minimum of 0. Okay, fine. And then they changed the Mountain Realm rule to be the Enduring as Rock ability of friendly Ymetrica Alarith units worsens the rend characteristic of attacks that target those units by 2 instead of 1 to a minimum of 0. So I believe the change here, I'm not exactly certain what the change was to the Great Nation rule.
what it did before is create a situation where it wouldn't have any effect on Rend 3. So if you had Rend like 1 or 2, it would make it 0.
That's right.
But if you had Rend 3, it had no effect on it.
0 effect. Now it's going to lower it to 1.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was stretching my brain there for a minute. Couldn't think of why.
Yeah, I think it's a really good change. I think it's going to make moo cows be able to stand in the fight a lot more.
It's certainly up on the stock of the moo cow list as opposed to the Whirling Wind lists.
Yeah, and Alarith are already super expensive, but
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things when this book first dropped. It was everyone was like, "Oh, look, I just take 50 Sentinels and Techless, and I win the game." But then, like as things shifted, meta changes, all that. Like Alarith became really good. They got the point hike, but then this ability just made no sense, and the interaction was, what does it mean? I think there used to be issues with Hoarfrost, even like in terms of how the rules interactions occurred. But this just cleans it up. You just worsen the Rend characteristic. And it's really good considering that you actually affect Rend 3, 4, 5 now.
Sure. Yeah.
With that. So you'll probably still be sitting on 2-3 up saves with your Stone Guard, stuff like that, which is good.
It's a good thing for them. So, okay. And again, Deep Thinkers got, basically the change is once per battle in your hero phase, when this unit attempts to cast its first spell in that phase, it is automatically cast with a casting roll of 9. Do not roll 2d6. It can still be unbound. What they did was they removed the phrase "that cannot be modified" from that 9.
Mm-hmm.
So, and by saying do not roll 2d6, they're basically saying you can't do dice manipulation on this. So,
Well, it's still a 9, but it can still be modified, right?
And it can be unbound. So they're just basically eliminating that trickeration with dice manipulation.
Yep.
Because there's no dice to manipulate. Okay, moving on. Idoneth Deepkin, the Bloodthirsty Shiver rule changed. You can include Bloodthirsty Shivers in your army if the If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made by a unit in a Bloodthirsty Shiver is 6, the attack scores 2 hits on the target instead of 1. That's a significant buff.
Yeah, I'm just double checking what we had before. I actually have to go into the sub-allegiance abilities.
Yeah.
This is Huithon. Yeah, I don't think it was. I think it may have just been on the bites, because now I think it's on every attack, right? So that does up them a bit, because it means that your ranged attacks are good, your mounted dudes are good. It's not just you're still bitey, but you're also fighty. So
it's an across the board upgrade, which is nice. Needed it. Definitely needed it.
Deepkin just feels so. I mean, they definitely benefited from the change in unit coherency, so you can actually run 6 eels alongside each other.
Oh my god,
right?
Who knew?
But I don't know. They just don't feel like they punch very hard, and I don't feel like they take hits very well. So there's in this weird place where they kind of flounder.
Yeah. I get it.
Every time I played them since their update and in third, it's just been kind of like, I could still like run around and score objectives, and really work that primary game a whole bunch, but it just kind of like doesn't feel fun and dynamic.
Yeah.
But again, they were a scourge in first and second.
Sure.
When you had those eel bombs that would roll up and you just like, oh God.
Oh my God. That was so horrifying.
Charge. I deleted your unit on the charge.
Yeah. On the charge.
Yep. They're kind of the first one that really had D3 damage impact hits.
Yeah. And then if you charge them, it was just as bad.
Yeah.
It hurt just as bad.
Oh, the shield guys who
Yeah.
you can't rend them. Yeah.
God, they were such a. Oh, I remember being out at Slobberknocker and running into that list and just going, I wonder if I lose on turn 1 or turn 2. Oh, it's turn 2.
Yeah. Flip a coin. See
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah, it was so straight. But, it was one of those deals where we were playing team tournament and somebody had to play the guy with the deep cannon. And it was like, okay, I'll take him.
I'll take the L.
Yeah, that way you guys can go out and fight some better fights. You want to take Chaos?
Yes. Yes.
I don't get
Okay.
the Nurgle change. Anyway.
Yeah, so the Mad Cannon Nurgle, I hate that they don't know how to choose their color palettes when they've got magenta on top of salmon. That way you can't really read it that well.
Yeah.
Right? So pick an objective wholly outside. This is Don't Squabble Children. This is their new
battle tactic.
battle tactic. Pick an objective wholly outside your territory. You complete this battle tactic at the end of turn if you control that objective, and any friendly Rotbringer units and any friendly Nurgle Demon units contest that objective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty easy to get, I'm guessing. So if you have no man's land objectives, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm gonna go take that one.
Yep.
And then you walk up and take it, you get this battle tactic.
But now my only question is here, the way this is worded, it says any friendly Rotbringer units and any friendly Nurgle. Do you need 2 units contesting the objective?
No. The way I read it is that it's either Rotbringers
Or Nurgle units.
yeah, and if you have both, okay, good, right? It's
Yep.
not saying you need to have. You see, there's no both there, right?
Yeah.
And if it said and both one or more friendly Rotbringer units
Yep.
and one or more friendly Nurgle Demon units, that would make sense, right?
I just wish they had put Rotbringer units and or any friendly. That would have clarified it.
Yeah,
But I like your read better than what I was assuming. So.
yeah, because I mean, it would mean that you would need to take Nurgle Demons to score that, and not everyone wants to play Nurgle Demons.
Yeah,
so why even have the battle tactic?
You're right.
So I read it that you just need to get a unit because everything's either a Rotbringer or a Nurgle Demon.
Yeah.
You need to get them onto the point.
So that's a super easy one to get.
Yeah, it's just get it real quick.
Mm-hmm. All right, Skaven.
Oh, Skaven. Well, one of the things Skaven have to do in order to win is that you need to retreat, right? And so they made that a battle tactic.
Yes, they did.
Flee. You complete the battle tactic at the end of the turn if any friendly Skaven battle line units retreated this turn and any friendly Skaven hero units retreated that turn.
So easy.
Yeah.
So easy. The only problem is you have to have been stuck in.
Yeah.
So this is a turn 3, turn 4 gimme.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, you're just running away all the time. So,
Sure.
I mean, no big deal. And probably, I'll agree with Vince on this one, the most important and greatest rule change to have ever hit the table, the Screaming Bell and the Plague Furnace had pushed into battle deleted.
Yes.
It's the stupidest
Stupid
ability. Like, it's not an ability. It was a detriment.
It was a horrible requirement.
You need to have at least, so many rats within so many inches of this thing for it to move. What?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? So they
Because they
changed
have
that.
to carry it.
So thank goodness they
Oof.
changed that. Screaming Bell is still such a bad model.
Yeah.
They had a weird rules interaction on there by allowing it to become a priest randomly.
Yeah.
When you can't suddenly gain a prayer when you do that. Like, I mean, if they had changed it to where you could gain a prayer, it might have some legit utility. And then you just kind of like hope you roll enough to summon a Vermin Lord.
Yeah.
Right? But the Plague Furnace, now that it can actually drive around for a bit,
Yeah.
I think that's going to get real interesting. Because that thing is, 12-inch aura of immunity to battle shock.
Mm-hmm.
And it spits out mortal wounds like crazy.
Yeah, it's
And
a
it's a
serious key piece that now is useful.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've been on the verge, if it wasn't for the trogs I'm working on right now, I've been on the verge of doing a straight up Clan Pestilence list.
Yep.
Right? And I would probably, now that they don't have to be pushed into battle, I would probably rock like at least 2 of those because they're not terribly expensive. And then just hordes of plague monks just knifing people in the ankles. Just
And not taking battle shock.
exactly.
Yep.
But since it's also Skaven, I can include, that's right, priests, including a Gracier on foot, which is still dirt cheap. Oh, no. And I could, I can Blizzard Wizard. I can Hoarfrost.
Hoarfrost until you're
a whole bunch
blue
of
in the face.
Rats. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good change. So Slaves to Darkness, the Kabbalist blasphemous rituals, they just changed it so you have to have the Eye of the Gods keyword to chain carry out the ritual itself, right? When you draw in power.
Yeah,
so,
the heroic action.
I was fine with that. I mean, it's more consistent.
Sure.
Doesn't make it so you can cheese rules onto a model that shouldn't be having the rules, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I think that was an internal interaction change. So quite a few of those here, actually. All right. So
anyway, speaking of you want to tell us all about death?
I do.
Okay.
So death is what happens when. Okay. Anyway, so Night Haunt got fright or flight changed. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy. If one or more objectives are being contested by friendly Night Haunt units, and there are no enemy units within 6 inches of any friendly Night Haunt units that are contesting an objective. So that's a strategy that I don't know that you're going to want to take. It's so easy for the opponent, especially if they're going second in the last turn, to just ruin.
Yep.
Now, if you have some way of guaranteeing going second, okay, you're good. So, it's going to be scenario dependent, obviously, when you're picking grand strategies. Make sure that your list doesn't have this one. Okay.
Yeah, it just sounds so hard to do.
Yeah, at the end of the game, to have nobody within 6 inches of a Night Haunt unit that's contesting an objective, so out of your control. So out. But who knows? It could mean something to somebody.
Yeah, but why would you just want to have just pick a grand strategy?
There's better grand strategies out there. So much, much better. So Osiarch Bone Reapers, this is ridiculous. They didn't need a nerf. Oh yeah, maybe they did. Okay, so basically this is affecting the Mortarch of the Necropolis, Mortarch of Sacrament, and Bone Shaper abilities. So when you're going to bring back an Immortus Guard or a Necro Stalker, nowadays on a 3+, if it hasn't taken any wounds, on a 3+, you can return 1 slain model to the unit with 4 wounds allocated. So obviously it comes back with 1 wound instead of coming back at full strength.
Yeah.
Very good change. Very appropriate to every other faction in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to bring back 1 wound models, and just I brought back D3 1 wound models, right? Yeah. To bring back one of these dudes at full health when they are just so hard to kill in the first place. This was really good because you have to heal first before you can return a model, and you only return a model on a 3+ from for the Immortus Guard, the tankiest.
Yes.
And for the Stalkers, the choppiest.
Yeah.
Models in the game. Those things are brutal.
Yeah, and this is, it's going to put them back on a somewhat more even keel as opposed to just, here's this thing that you spent a turn trying to destroy, and I just bring it back. Full strength. There you go. So, nice little change for that. Soulblight Gravelords got Lord of the Vampires lore. I said Lord. Lore of the Vampires. You change Spirit Gale to Spirit Gale is a spell that has a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick up to 3 different enemy units on the battlefield to suffer 1 mortal wound. If the unmodified casting roll for this spell is a 9+ and this spell is not unbound, pick 6 different enemy units on the battlefield to suffer 1 mortal wound instead. So you're still spamming out mortal wounds, but it can be unbound. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a little less mortal wounds, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it was D3, wasn't it? Each unit took D3?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Because that just used to be so annoying before.
Yeah, it was just basically a font of spitting out mortal wounds.
It just explode. Oh, great.
Yeah. So, again, just a very targeted change to some shenanigans with Soulblight. Grand Alliance Destruction, gee, they got no rule changes. I wonder why.
Yeah, they got new rules, in fact. Thank goodness.
So points changes. And holy hand grenade. Idneth Deepkin down across the board. Your Leviathan went down again, down to 400. Achillean King goes down 20. The Volturnos goes down 20 to 230. So a lot of internal and external balance in that one. Seraphon, Slan Starmaster, they're finally figuring out that these guys are really good. And they go up to 290. That's plus 15. That's a healthy chunk.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's still pretty squishy. So as long as you can get within range of it, you can shoot it down, or I mean, it just folds if you can charge it with a decent unit.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good change. I don't know, maybe they can go up more points, but I guess with Rupture going down or getting nerfed,
Yeah.
that's okay. I'm trying to think what else.
I'm kind of surprised that's the only Seraphon change. I expected to see a little bit more, but
I mean, one would want the stuff that's primarily taken in Coalesce to go down.
yeah,
Right?
that's what I was thinking. Is some dinos would go down.
I like to see Croxigors go down because I mean they can hit hard, but they have weird things where you need skinks nearby for them to work. And,
Yeah, they're too limited. They got too scared of making them good.
yeah. So I mean, all in all, still happy about that.
Yeah,
Biggest changes, I think, personally, Stormcast Eternals.
big time.
Are you kidding me?
So Annihilators go down 20 to 150. They're really good. And then Annihilators with Meteoric Grandhammers go down 20 to 200. Sign me up. Sign me up. The Night Relictor goes down again, probably because they haven't sold one in 10 years. Liberators, thank you, finally go back down to 100.
As
So,
they should have stayed the
Yes.
entire time. My God.
I don't know why they bumped them up like that. I think they were afraid because of their new abilities. They were going to be way too good. And no, they were adequate when you changed them. And now they're pointed to be adequate. Lord Imperator and Relictor both go down 20. Praetors go down 10. Sequitors go down 10. The Chariot goes down 10. And Vindictors go down 10. Lot across the board changes to spread the love inside the book, but also make it a little bit more of a viable army to take.
I think Annihilators with shields going to 150 for 3 is absurd. Everyone's talking about it. I mean, you can make a Anni impenetrable unless they can fly over you. But,
Yeah.
you just drop 2 units of 6 down. That's only 600 points in your army for 12 models that have a 2-up freaking save.
Yeah.
They do mortals when they hit the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're just tank. They're so good.
Yes.
At 150, yes, all day. Is that gonna? I don't know. Is that gonna change how people play Stormcast now?
I'm wondering if it's going to lessen the dragon meta a little bit for Stormcast and go more into the troops. Because now with Liberators going down, you've got something to come up and relieve the Annihilators. Sequitors, of course, are always still that unit that's on the cusp of being great.
Oh, they're almost there every time.
And yet they just won't let them be sentinels. They just won't let them be good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's really weird. It's going to be fun to play with these new changes and look at how the lists change.
Well, I think the Stormstrike Chariot at 150 makes it interesting. I like those sort of numbers that slot in really well, like 150, 200, those things. But
They've done a really good job of getting rid of all the 5s.
Yeah.
So thank you.
But it was at 160 before. It was an awkward point amount. But I think it's an interesting choice, for 1 or 2, depending on how many points you have left in your army. But also the Sequitors become your, not Sequitors, sorry. Liberators become your go-to, I have 100 points left unit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just throw in 5, schmucks.
A really nice battle line unit that can take some hits, has 2 wounds, and just is generally useful on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Now they're costed appropriately to some other, more elite battle line. And I know it sounds silly, but they're on the upper end of battle line, and they should be. But they shouldn't have costed that much because they don't do that much.
Yeah.
But now they're fun, and they blow up. No, they don't blow up. Annihilators blow up.
Heat Knights.
Yes.
Bliss Barb, Archers and Seekers go up. Slick Blade, Seekers, Contorted Epitome, and the Mask go up. I didn't know anyone played the Mask. It's a cool model, but I guess it's there. And then you had the Fiend Bloods, Painbringers, and normal Fiends go down. I think these are good changes. I hate playing Hedonites. I really do. It is like the epitome of an NPE army.
Yeah.
Like, it's not one of those things where it's non-interactive. It's the point where, like, you can't do what you want to do without getting hurt for it.
Right.
No matter what. Would you like a dice? No, take D3 mortals. Oh, and look, now
Yeah.
I've got more. Oh, and it's like, oh, I just summoned like 35 Keepers of Secrets.
Yeah.
And, the Contorted Epitome is a straight up bastard. Like, that
Yes.
thing is such an annoying unit. And I'm like, yes, thank you.
And when
Please.
they add another 20 to make it 250, I'll be reasonably happy.
Yeah.
But at 230, it's still a bargain. So,
It is. It still has a 2-up ward to mortals. It doesn't have the best saves. So I mean, if you can get in combat with it, you can
make it
squish
go away,
pretty
but-
quick. But it's going to be able to strike first.
Sure.
And then someone's going to put the whatever spell on it that increases the damage.
Yeah.
Of a melee weapon by 1. It's just so annoying. It's such an annoying model.
Yes.
Such an annoying army. It's one of those things where you're like, okay, so here are my tactics. I'm going to do this, and then just like, can I offer you a dice? Can I offer you a dice? Can I just stop?
No, I
Stop.
Shut up. I don't want
If
your
you
shit.
enjoy playing Hedonites of Slanesh, I am sorry that you were hurt as a child.
Yes.
And you need to take it out on literally everyone else.
Show us where Barbie touched you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Magakin, good changes.
Magakin. Wow. To me, between Stormcast and Magakin, those are the two highlighted changes. Now, the negative change is the Harbinger of Decay goes up 50 points.
I think that's actually what the new model costed from the new book. They just had to change it in the actual book.
Okay.
I think.
Ouch.
Yeah.
But everything else, Unclean Ones go down 20, Blowab goes down 20, Rotbringer Sorcerer goes down 20 to 120. Thank you for a nice Sorcerer. Rodigus goes down 20 to 400, which is good. Because definitely no longer as good as a regular Unclean One.
Yeah.
Glotkin goes down 20 to
my
580. Still a little overpriced.
I think so?
Yeah.
That guy was starting around like 700 something when they
Yeah.
first launched him. Now he's almost dropped 200 points.
Yeah, he's coming down to about where he's useful for his points. He's a really good, nice centerpiece now if you're building around Glotkin.
Which is going to be like a lot of foot dudes, right? Well, you're countercharging with him, right?
Yeah.
God, he's such a beautiful model.
But see, at the same time, the Putrid Blight Kings go down 20 to 230. So
It's getting there.
you're getting,
getting there.
A Glotkin army is going to be a thing again because you can do it now. With the Sorcerers dropping, a regular Unclean One dropping, it could be a fun thing. Plague Bearers go down 10 to 120. Good change.
Yes, very good change. All of it looks good to me.
Yeah, I think
mean-
they're going to put Magakin back on the map.
Well, then the all the bugs, not the. Sorry, I'm thinking of the demon bugs.
Yeah.
Right, plague drones. Taking them in units of 6 now. Oh my God, that's a flying wall you can't get through.
Sure is.
And you can Hoarfrost them too. Yeah, I think Magakin are going to be kind of moving again, so to speak.
I begin to wonder. I know they were featured in the very original drop of AOS. I wonder if they're going to feature into Harbingers a little bit later, a book or two down the road.
I think they have to, right?
It almost seems if you're going to be doing Hammerhall and Gardas and all that stuff, it would almost be a crime not to include some Nurgle at some point. So,
Yeah, because they had it in Dawnbringers 1.
yeah.
Because we got Flocloth, the Harbinger of Decay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, he retreated back and was sort of like, I have to go warn people because of, Jerry. And
Yeah.
so they have to come back, I would think. I think there's going to be a pretty big battle that's probably going to figure in the Twin Tail Crusade. It's going to figure in the Magakin and the Flesh Eater Courts. And then, I don't know, maybe Trug will show back up. But
Who knows?
who knows?
Who knows?
Then Skaven, all points drops. I mean, yeah, I don't really have any problems with any of these. The Hell Pit, it's one of those sneaky ones, right? The Hell Pit either just dies to shooting
Yes.
or if it gets a charge off, it's the worst model your opponent has ever faced.
I've gotten abused by hell pits more than once, and I do not like them. I do live in fear of them.
I think they could drop it a little bit more because it has a 5-up save.
Yeah.
It's
real squishy to shooting.
Yeah.
So
if you get it down to like 150, 160, then I think it's going to be, I'll risk the points on that.
Yeah, and you take two of them because you probably can't kill both at once, and one of them's going to get in there and just annihilate you.
Yeah, and it's a beautifully horrific model as well. Deathmaster, that thing does work. Really, really like the Deathmaster. Gracier Screaming Bell, just delete the War Scroll and restart.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the Cannon and Giselles, okay.
Yep.
I'm good with that. Slaves, looks like Chosen, Karkadrak, Warriors, Theridons, and Varangard all dropped. The big drops are on the Chaos Lord on Karkadrak and the Chaos Warriors. That's really interesting. Chaos Warriors going down 180 when the Ard Boys that just came out are 220.
Yeah.
They're pretty close to each other. So I don't know. Very interesting.
It'll be fun to see.
Theridon's going down good. They're little glass cannony. So I think that's a good change there.
Yep. Over to Night Haunt. This is mostly internal book balance changes to get more units into play.
Yeah.
But the really good highlight change here is Lady Olinda goes down 40 to 270, which puts her in the realm of, I can bring my Lady Olinda list again, because for what she does now, she's definitely worth that 270. Hex Race go down 10 to 170. Dread Scythe Harridans go down 20 to 150. So all of you that have just a ton of Harridans sitting around, hey, build them, paint them. They're fun now at 150. And Revenants, thank you. Drop them 20 points to 160. Such a great unit, but only on the charge. And once they've done their damage, you pretty much consider them to be gone.
Yeah.
Because they ain't coming back.
Yeah, they just, I don't know, disappear.
Yeah.
After they do their initial charge.
But that charge can really be hurtful.
Yes.
So, you'll get what you paid for out of them, hopefully. Then OCArchs. So weird changes across the board. The Harvester, the Mortec Guard, and the Mortec Crawler all go down 20 to now the Mortec Guard are 130. Still probably 10 or 20 points too high. The Crawler goes down to 180 and the Harvester goes down to 160. Good changes there.
Yeah.
The Death Riders, which have been the linchpin of some shenanigans, go up 10 to 190. I don't see that as a major change. But Catacross goes up 40 points back to 500.
That's closer to right.
I would say yes. He is, and in this current battle pack, he's strong and he's got game. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he ekes up north of 500 again. Because he's strong.
Just the abilities now, they're just so good.
Yeah.
And the things that he brings to the table are just so good. You can build a list around him. You don't have to, but you can.
I'm pretty happy that they didn't try to double dip on Immortus Guard and Stalkers by hitting them on points too,
as well as taking away their I appear at full health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just doing that one change probably brings them into balance.
I do.
Then Soul Blight, which has been the scourge of many
AOS.
a tournament scene. They are winning so hard. Andor just made it a lot easier. Zombies are stupid good. Remember when Zombies first came out, they were like 90 points.
Yeah.
They were just 90 points. And because they're so good, they're now up to 150.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's funny because at the original outset, they were a decent unit to fill out lists, but nothing more than that until all of a sudden they got unlocked and you realize how freaking good they are and how you can literally just bring bricks of 30 that never go away. And that number varies between 20 and 30 every turn.
Yeah.
You can't kill them fast enough.
They don't have to charge. They dodge so many things. They have just legit hero backup. Gorslav. I think Tergilius is pretty brutal too.
Sure.
And everything. Just Soulblight got no point decreases.
No.
Everything went up. Even Fellbats. They're like, F you, F you, F him over there too. He didn't do anything. I don't care.
I don't care. He's a fallback. But nobody has them. Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, the major hits. Tergilius went up 30. He was a big hit. Deadwalker Zombies up 30. Belladama up 20. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see
Belladama's
that.
so good. Direwolves up 10. That's the whole thing when like most of the units that aren't heroes, right, in your army, they just recur in just brutal ways. Like this makes sense to me. And I think this is them trying to be like, oh, okay, so Soulblight got a little out of hand. Let's tone it down. Then like they're still winning and they're like, okay, well, we have to do that again. Is this going to change anything? You know, Spirit Gale and the point drops. Maybe we'll see Soulblight. What's their win percentage? Isn't it's north of 60,
it's ridiculous,
near 70, right?
Yeah.
It's insane right now.
Yeah, they're the Eldar of AOS.
Oh,
They're just so strong. But honestly, I think these points changes are going to impact most of the lists, and they're really going to have to be rethought. That zombie change is huge, as well as just all of the named characters going up enough that it's impactful, but not going to make you stop playing completely. Yeah. But you're definitely going to have to change how you function with your list.
Yep.
It won't simply be put on board, win game. So, I mean, obviously you had to position and you had to get your tools into the right places, but really once they were there, they were not moving. They were not getting pushed off objectives at all.
Oh, I almost killed all of you, and we're back.
Yeah.
I almost killed all of you, and we're back. Ugh. So that was the battle scroll.
And I mean, we talked about that when they first came out, that this was going to be an issue.
Yeah, when they were like dirt cheap, and I was like, I'm going to do the 180 zombie meme list, right? It wasn't a meme list, was it? It was like legit.
Yeah.
Going to be the scourge of AOS in times to come.
Yeah.
You know, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Me too.
So that's the battle scroll.
Yep. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll get into Harbingers.
Sounds good to me.
And now for something completely different.
Okay, moving on to Harbingers, Reign of the Brute, Book 2.
Time to kick the fires and light the tires. Wait. Sorry, Coach, I got that wrong.
Sure did.
It's
okay. It's kind of a boring book. Nothing really big. Let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, there's like big monsters, but there's not big story. And so, quick overview of the book. We got the continuation of the story that we saw in Harbingers. We get, which is going to be the primary thing we talk about today, sort of a new addition, patch, I don't know, option.
Yeah.
For Path to Glory for Cities of Sigmar specifically.
Yes.
Right? And actually it harkens to more to come, actually, which is great.
Quite a bit, yeah.
We get the army rules for Trug, his Trog herd, for Broad, his Stomp. We get the Bacon Boys and
making bacon.
Making bacon. And then we get the Grunstock guys with their actually pretty decent army renown.
Yeah.
So it's definitely very narrative, the entire book, but we do get new rules, new models, super awesome. So like I said, we're going to primarily spend our time on the Path to Glory, but we are going to talk a bit about the story. If you want to go look at Doug's
2
deep
plus
dive.
Tough. He's doing the lore. Yeah, just jump in there. He covers this stuff so well that there's really no point to do it other than a couple of highlights. Highlight for me is Gardas gets his butt kicked again. I alluded to it in the introduction.
Yep.
He finally has a fort with his name on it. So you know that had to get destroyed.
Right.
And boy, did it ever.
It got destroyed. He got squished by Broad. It's that's the very end of it. So I'll just do the TLDR real quick on it, and then we'll go to our favorite parts. So TLDR, you have the Twin-Tailed Crusades that we knew were setting out from Hammerhall Axia and Hammerhall Gyra. And Axia, that's the one that's led by Talia, that beautiful, bad woman on top of the Manticore.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that model. Just to freaking paint it.
Oh.
Sets out with her marshals and Pontifex Zenestra out on their crusade. Hammerhall Gyra, we have them setting out because they're marching towards where the Flesh Eater courts probably are.
Yeah, that's
it sounds like it's not going to be a good time for them.
they're going to go from strength to strength. Yeah.
Yeah. So dealing with Akshi, y'all remember that little goblin who's super annoying. And I had all the curse words written down. Are they still here? Oh, no. So he had woken up something. He said he found the biggest trog. Turns out that's Trug. Trug is the biggest trog. He is. They call him the Troggoth King. I don't really think trogs have kings, but he's just the biggest one, and they all follow the big one. So he's got the ley line on his back. If he accidentally bumps it or he smashes it, he gets infused with weird power. So the Talia's leading the Action Crusade. She gets called back to Hammerhall, and so it's being led by the Marshal. But Zenestra's there, and she's just a straight up religious lunatic. And because she's got that charisma and just pure, probably sociopathic tendencies, everyone starts to follow her. She's got her flagellants, that start to sway things. Their whole thing is pretty much like running from Trug the entire time.
Yeah.
Trug takes their, was it Truce Break, I think is the little city that they got to.
Yes.
He destroys the crap out of it. The Marshal tries to redeem himself for his failures as a leader by igniting a bunch of black powder underneath him to blow up Trug, but Trug had his Akshi rune on, so he was just on fire. And then he followed Pontifex Sinestra with the rest of the crew into this canyon where Pontifex Sinestra summons some type of DBZ-style disc or wheel that she believes is from Sigmar himself, launches it at Trug. Trug heals so sneaking fast, but this thing's like doing as much damage as he's healing, so it's just kind of like it's not going anywhere, but it traps in there, but it's also shooting rays of light.
And it's ripping the hell out of the rest of the army.
Yeah.
So.
And then causes the canyon to collapse upon the Gloomspite army, which I'm sure Trug was a little happy. He can maybe sleep for a little bit.
Yeah.
What's funny is the ley line on Trug's back. It wasn't like this for him before, but it's like he had been infused with the power of Gyran because he accidentally, somehow, because of the rabble rouser, was able to stumble through a portal into Akshi. That's how he's there in the first place. But he sees like magical places as like shinies that hurt his head.
Yeah.
And so he needs to go smash the shinies.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense to me.
Yeah.
When I have a migraine.
I was going to say, he's just a guy with migraines. So
I was sleeping. I woke up with a migraine, all the shiny stuff, and just trying to like cover it or destroy it in something.
Crushed it.
Yeah. So I do love Trug. He's just an interesting, like, sort of force of nature, as all Trogs are. They're just idiots, right? But that's okay. I'm sure he'll be back. And now Zenestra is essentially the one leading the Action Crusade. Bit of a setback. They lost a lot of people. Yeah. They lost a leader. But now Zenestra is taking it to a religious fervor.
Oh, yeah.
So the Hammerhall Action side of things has become distinctly religious.
Yes.
And fanatically so. So that's real. I'm really interested to see where that goes. Hammerhall Gyra, they were heading towards Verdia.
Well, at the very beginning, they double back down on the Nurgle, the deluge of ickiness, and they have to get through Thlorpax, who is a great unclean one. So they're able to get through that reasonably okay, but there's this neat little on page 25. There's this neat little sidebar about the endless deluge.
Yeah,
it's just so disheartening to read how icky it was. But then they fall right into the Iron Jaws.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hogs of War, Battle Bacon, the Magruntas are here. Beautiful stinking models.
Yes.
Army of Renown sucks. But in the story, unlike their rules, they can smash and bash a little bit, huh? So we got brought, if you read the and I really recommend, if you haven't been reading them, go read the short stories for the Dawnbringers.
Yes.
Maybe one of these days I'll do a story time with Josh where I go through all of them and get you a summary of all the bits of the story that are not in these books, because there's some things that aren't in here. But Broad's like, oh man, I need to go smash the stuff because they build it on top of Bahamut? I can't remember. But either way, they've wronged his god in the past, and so he needs to go destroy the Umis, and that's what he does.
Yeah, kind of single-minded, purposeful.
It's destruction.
Yeah, pretty much.
Destruction is doing what destruction does, and I love it. Absolutely love it.
So then weaving through the story, they bring in the Sylvaneth again.
Drycha.
Drycha makes an appearance. They're just trying to, the story is going to be as inclusive as they can be for different factions to have the opportunity to play into it, which is good. I mean, I like the focus being on the destruction elements. They've always needed the love, and they're getting it. So the whole thing on this side wraps up with Fort Gardas. Just, it's Gardas. So he's not only going to die, but whatever he's worked on is going to be destroyed.
Oh, of course.
And so sure as heck, I won't go into the actual scene itself, but Gardas stands up to Broad, and that doesn't go well.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't go well for either of them.
Yeah, I mean, Broad, as far as, he's not dead, but he kind of gets like knocked out.
Yeah.
And Gardas gets sent back to heaven. So
yeah.
I do really like, though, the picture that accompanies the fate of Fort Gardas. So page 35. Like, it does look kind of cool that Gardas is leaping off,
yeah.
the fort gates to just do battle with this thing that he knows is going to kill him, But it really wasn't. I mean, Broad didn't get knocked out because of Gardas.
Right.
It was because he was getting blasted.
Yes.
Right. The entire time. So, he went down, but Gardas and his fort fall, which you should have just expected.
Yeah.
And that's the long and short of it.
And then they go into an overview of the Crusaders and what makes up the different armies. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a neat little overview of each one of the factions that's out here. And then they do a War Across the Realms section. So they kind of keep you going with what's going on elsewhere.
Yep.
So just little snippets, nothing major. And then a lot of art, just so you can see what these things look like. And then on page 54 becomes the rules.
Yeah.
And they're junk. It's just a extra path to glory and, a couple armies of renown. Really, it's nothing much to talk about, except that it's half the damn book, which is awesome.
That's great. No, it's great. I like it. It's pretty much almost balanced, half story, half rules.
Yeah.
The armies of renown are match play legal if you want to use them. The armies of renown completely replace. So whatever your rules, like your command traits, but also your just army traits, right?
Grand strategies, battle tactics, core battalions, and war scroll battalions all go away in favor of this book.
Yep. So you have to use whatever is in here. Now, I know a lot of people, particularly on the competitive side of things, have been just talking up all the armies of renown. No one's talking about the path to glory, which is why you listen to us, because we are going to talk about this, and I am really enthused for what this means for path to glory moving forward.
Yes. This is when I first saw that it was an expansion to the Cities of Sigmar Path to Glory, I was like, man, that is so lame. They just came out with that book. How about give somebody else? Oh no, this is what should have been in that book. This is so good. Oh my God.
So before you listen to what we're about to talk here, go back and listen to our cities.
Yeah. Our Cities Path to Glory show, which sets the ground rules for this.
Oh yeah. In a huge way, So the sort of meta view of this, right, which I think is important before we get into the actual rules. What they're saying is in the Path to Glory here, the Twin-Tailed Crusade, Chapter 1, Grit and Zeal. And so they plain bring out, each installment of Dawnbringers will include rules to recreate the Twin-Tail Crusade in your Path to Glory campaign. And so now they're going to be breaking up your Path to Glory experience in Cities of Sigmar, if you follow the story.
Yes.
Into different chapters that have their individual setbacks, blessings, benefits at the end of the chapter if you complete it. This is super cool.
This really is. And to me, I don't see this as like a store campaign kind of a thing. I think this is two people getting together and deciding we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Because the cohesion that you need to do this and to follow it through to its conclusion means it's not great for, I think, like for the store or the wide ranging. This is something that you play with a small group of friends, 2, 4, 6 players, and you get together and do it and just have a phenomenally good time.
Yeah.
with it, because this is it takes Path to Glory in a whole new direction, and God, I hope they do more of this.
Oh yeah. I mean, like this design space is amazing. We talked about the things that they can do in Path to Glory.
Oh, yeah.
And this is getting towards, talk about having a consistent story to work through on the books. What I think would be really interesting is, I know that the Twin Tail Crusades, like the focus of Dawnbringers, and that's why they're going to be the ones that have, the chapters they weave through. But a future release, like a true Path to Glory only release, where you have the different games, right? We'll talk about it here in a second. And so every faction has the opportunity to go through and follow a story, right? And the variables in terms of the players and stuff can come into that. But
and in terms of making your own crusades, use this as your template. They have the flow charts here. They have everything you need, and you just have to basically make a few changes here and there to make this work for Stormcast versus Khorne, or Ideneth versus Lumineth, or something, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So it's great. And the big concept here is that this is a chapter. What happens in this book is one chapter of your Path to Glory story. You're not going to be complete when you end this chapter. You're going to have to wait for the next book for the next chapter. Mm-hmm. And it is a novel new way of going forward. Mm-hmm. One of the first rules is you accrue crusade points as normal. However, you will not found your city once you accrue 25. Instead, your crusade points determine how well your army fares and the rewards you receive at the end of the chapter. How to found your city will be covered in a later chapter, or a future chapter. So what they're basically saying is that if you're going to stay with this story, they're not at the point to where in the lore where they're setting up a new story, a new city. So neither are you.
Yeah.
And what you're going to need to do is maximize your value and your points.
Yeah.
To be ready for that.
And you might be asking, I'm already doing a Path to Glory, Josh and Bill. How do I get into this?
How would I muscle that into this, Josh?
Well, if you've already been fighting Path to Glory battles using a Cities of Sigmar Path to Glory army on Crusade, you just reset your Crusade points to 0 and start from the top.
And start fresh.
Right?
Okay.
But, it only says that you reset your Crusade points. It says nothing about how if you're going to go back and reset your army.
No.
So you could be playing Path to Glory for 3 months straight and your army is insanely big, right? You just go back to 0. All your models the same.
Right.
And as we talked about on the Cities of Sigmar stuff before, like you can make whatever stinking army you want if you haven't founded a city yet.
Oh, it's the freedom here is crazy.
Yeah.
And some of the things that bothered me about the setbacks table and the what's his name table, the blessings table, are all made better in here. But let's go through. So there are quests for both the Axian and the Gyronite Crusades in this section. So you're gonna have to pick one to do.
Yes.
And that's obviously gonna be largely up to your opponent what armies they want to play.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't want to do giants in any way, shape, or form, well, guess what? You're not going there. You'll have to have that discussion beforehand. Of course, you use the setbacks and blessings from this book instead of the one from the cities book, and they're separated by the Axian Crusade and the Gyronite Crusade. The other thing that you have to do right off the bat is during the Twin Tail Crusade, you take on the role of your Crusade's commander. You must contend with difficult choices as your soldiers traverse the wilderness. From the configuration of the forces at your disposal to the use of your supplies and how best to ensure your faithful Crusaders survive to reach their destination. So technically, as long as your name's not Gardas, you have a chance.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. But he's not part of cities. So,
That's correct.
right?
But he can be brought in. Okay, as an ally.
As a
Why? Why would you bring
just throw him at Broad while you go do something else.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, but basically, before you start an Axian or a Gyronite Crusade, you can pick up to 3 different Crusade traits, and you will. Crusade traits from the appropriate table below. Each Crusade trait can only be used once during your campaign. That's all of it. That's all the chapters. So when you're looking at these And which one do you want, Axion or Gyronite?
You're the guy from Actually, so I'll take Gyronite.
Okay, I will do the Axion Crusade traits, keeping in mind that these are one use only. However, they're not going to be game destroying or campaign destroying things either. They're not so powerful that they're nuts.
Yep.
So the first one is for the Axion Crusade is Duarden Efficiency. Once per campaign, in step 2 of the Aftermath sequence, you can treat any friendly Ironweld Arsenal units that were destroyed during the battle as not being destroyed. Okay, thank you. That one might be a little powerful. Next up is Axion Resolve. Once per campaign, at the end of the Aftermath sequence of a Path to Glory battle, for each unit on your order of battle that has a casualty score of 1 or more, reduce its casualty score by 1.
Nice.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Burning Star. Once per campaign, at the end of a Path to Glory battle, each unit that took part in the battle gains 1 additional renown point.
That could tip you over into more veteran abilities.
And that's one that, you're going to look at that and how you've built your army thus far, and you're going to want to maximize that one. Okay, No Strangers to Hardship. Once per campaign, after a Path to Glory battle, you can use this trait to receive D6 additional glory points. You must spend those glory points in the Aftermath sequence of that battle, otherwise they're lost.
Okay.
So a quickie bonus, but if you need to just go over the top for a certain purchase, that could be what you need.
Yep.
Legacy of Service. Once per campaign in the Aftermath sequence of a Path to Glory battle, you can add 1 unit to your order of battle without spending any glory points to do so. Auto take. Okay, so auto take. Yeah, Legacy of Service might be good.
Might be too good.
Might be very good, because there's some other ones that do similar things. So Bonded by Fire is the last one. Once per campaign in the Aftermath sequence of a Path to Glory battle, you can reinforce 1 unit on your order of battle without spending a glory point to do so. Auto take. Auto take.
God, right?
Auto take. So I'm saying those last 2 are auto takes. And then with your third, you kind of pretty much play around with what you're going to have. If you don't have any Ironweld Arsenal guys, you're not going to use that.
Nope.
If you don't think casualty scores are going to be a thing, don't take it. I like the one that just everybody gets an additional renown point. Those are the 3 I would take, is the Burning Star, the Legacy of Service, and Bonded by Fire. That's what I would put on my sheet.
Yeah, personally, I might flex into Axion Resolve, but I would agree with you on that. Because those are just, the last 2 are just, they printed them last, so that way you actually had to read everything else.
Sure.
Right, so let's see what the Gyronite Crusade has to offer. So, Jade Vitality, once per campaign at the end of the Aftermath sequence of Path to Glory battle. For each unit on your order battle has a casualty score of 1 or more, reduce its casualty score by 1. Hey, that sounds familiar.
I think I've seen that.
So, Axion Resolve, Jade Vitality. I guess it's just whatever you want to write it as.
Mm-hmm.
Then, Wellspring Scouts, once per campaign in the Aftermath sequence of Path to Glory battle. You can use this to subtract 1 from the glory points cost of each unit picked to recuperate. So that's not bad.
That could be a tremendous amount of glory points saved.
Yeah, if you just took a shellacking, because your city's a Sigmar and everything dies to stiff freeze, that might be the one, because you have to actually get a territory for something like that.
Yeah.
They do have the Wellspring territory, and that one is like, you see that, and you're like, oh God, I need that.
Yeah.
It's up there. Once per campaign in the Aftermath sequence of a Path to Glory battle, you can change the result of an injury roll made for a friendly hero to, quote, forged in battle.
Okay.
I'd take that.
That one, that's Gyronite Healers. So when you roll that crap roll and you're about to lose your hero, boom. All of a sudden, not only do you not lose him, but he or she is baller.
For sure. Then Bountiful Reserves is the next one. Once per campaign, after a Path to Glory battle, you can use this trait to receive 1 additional glory point for each friendly unit that fought in the battle and was not destroyed. That's not bad.
Interesting caveat there that it has the was not destroyed.
Yeah. So, if you have a game where Cities of Sigmar, you can have so much MSU, right?
Right.
That I think, depending on the game, right? And I think the thing is you don't have to use that until later.
Yeah.
That could just shoot you up in glory, especially like later games where you're like, all right, after you founded your city, blah, 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 because this is campaign, not...
Yep. This is the whole caboodle.
Yeah, I think that one could be good. Blessings of the Ever Queen, once per campaign in the Aftermath sequence, Path to Glory battle. 2 units that took part in the battle can be picked to be your favorite warriors instead of 1. That's a good amount of extra renown right there.
Very nice. Yeah.
I like that one. I don't know about once per campaign. I like it, but I like it.
Right.
Toward Greener Pastures, once per campaign at the end of the Path to Glory battle. Each unit that took part in the battle gains 1 additional renown. So I'd say, all things considered, the Axion one has like the 2 best that you could possibly get. Like, that is ridiculous. Gyro Knight's okay. There's some aspects to playing that side. You know, if you have a friend who's like, I really like my King Broad, can we play? Then yeah, I'll do Gyro Knight, but I think the Axion one would probably be more fun.
Yeah, I think those are just flat out better. And although the corresponding Gyro Knight doesn't say it has to be spent that turn and it's a little more bountiful, I just don't think they match up. I think Axion is just better across the board.
Yeah, I think so. Let's keep with it, because now we're moving into the setbacks and blessings. Bill, tell us what setbacks there are in Axie.
Okay, so for Axie, all new table. So on a 1, you've got Hunting Grounds. This is setbacks, by the way. On a 1, roll a die for each battle line unit on your order of battle. On a 1 to 3, increase that unit's casualty score by D3. That's bad. That's super bad.
Ooh.
Especially if you have a reasonably elite kind of army.
Yep.
Okay, number 2 is Angry Mob. Roll a die for each unit in your army that has wheels. Not thumbs, wheels. So steam tanks. On a 1 or a 2, that unit cannot move in your next Path to Glory battle. Oh my God. A little bit of paperwork tracking there because you might not take that unit in the very next battle. So it will, in the next one that it fights in, it will have no wheels. That's bad.
They really say it has no wheels in the book, by the way.
Yes, they do.
This is funny. It's sort of like parking your car in Albuquerque. Is that the Albuquerque Crusade? Are we sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be bad.
That's hilarious.
It is. It's funny, but if you're doubling down on that steam tank list, that could be disastrous. Oh,
well,
God.
I mean, if you don't have any wheels in your army and you roll a 2, you're like, thank God.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Next up is Fiery Winds. On a 3, during your next Path to Glory battle, each time a friendly Ironweld Arsenal, Free Guild Fusiliers, or Iron Drake unit shoots, after all of its attacks have been resolved, roll a die. On a 1, that unit suffers D6 mortal wounds. Wow, that's painful. These setbacks are hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, when your gunpowder literally blows up in your
face.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. But they get better, don't worry. On a 4 or 5, you have Sweltering Temperatures. You subtract 1 from recuperation rolls made for friendly units this Aftermath sequence. That can be disastrous, deleterious, whatever you want to call it. It could be bad. But then we get the 6. And it's a GW game, so good things happen to you on 6s. And this is a much-needed miracle. Roll twice on the Axion Crusade blessing table and pick either result. Oh my God. Would you like me to do the blessings, or do you want to do your setbacks?
Let's do my setbacks.
Let's
a little suspense there on what the blessings could be and what you can get if you got a 6 on the setback. Anyway,
I like it.
Gyro Knight Crusade setbacks. The first one, this one's rough. Oak Blight. During your next Path to Glory battle, subtract 1 from save rolls for attacks that target friendly Castellite units.
Ow. Ooh. So if you've doubled down on that shooty, that could be painful.
Oh, yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Number 2, roll a 2, you get Cloying Mists. During your next Path to Glory battle, models are not visible to each other if the distance between them is more than 12 inches. Roll a dice at the start of each battle round after the first. On 5 to 6, the mist clears, and this rule no longer affects the battlefield. That's just cool.
I like those kind of rules that affect the battlefield entirely.
Yep.
To me, this is only a setback if you're doing a lot of ranged.
Yeah.
You know.
I can dig it. All right, number 3, Swarms of Biting Insects. Roll a dice for each battle line unit on your order of battle. On a 1, increase that unit's casualty score by D3. I think that's better than what you got in Axie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what are the numbers on that? 1 to 3 or just a 1?
A 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as bad. Endless Deluge. You lose D3 Glory. That could be
That's Nurgle talking right there.
That's a kick in the sweets, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and 6. What's that? A much needed miracle. Roll twice on the Gyronite Crusade blessings and pick either result. Well, we both have reached a much needed miracle.
Yes.
Bill, please tell us, what miracles could we expect from Akshi?
Let me see. The number one miracle is Miracle Max is asleep, so you get no effect. On a 2 or a 3, during your next Path to Glory battle, this is Unshakable Faith, by the way. During your next Path to Glory battle, you can issue both the Rally command and the Inspiring Presence command once per battle without a command point being spent.
Nice.
So a free Rally and a free Inspiring Presence. Thank you very much. Number 4 is Ironweld Ingenuity. During your next Path to Glory, once in each of your shooting phases, you can re-roll 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll. Blah, 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 blah. This English stuff is hard. Made for an attack made by friendly Ironweld Arsenal unit. So if you're not bringing dwarves, you're kind of poopy. Number 5 is Sacred Waters. At the end of the aftermath sequence of this battle, for each unit on your order of battle that has a casualty score of 1 or more, reduce it by D3.
Dig it.
Thank you. And then, of course, 6 is Action Zeal. Pick 1 unit on your order of battle that is not a hero and has not yet earned the rank of Legendary Veteran Warriors. That unit gains enough renown points to earn its next rank.
Oof.
Oh my God. Especially if you just ranked a unit
Yeah.
and then just slap them up to the next one. Oh, that's bonus right there.
Yep. Could you imagine like double promotion on a hero in one go?
Well, you can't do it on a hero, which is good.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So, but you can still go from a green unit to a legendary. Or
Is
no,
it legendary? No.
You'd go veteran.
Because you go veteran first.
Yeah.
And then you have, is it Grizzled Veteran's the next one?
Grizzled
and
veteran.
Then, yeah. So you could pop, and you have 2 veteran abilities.
Nice.
And there's some good ones on the next page we'll get to. Gyronite Crusade, what are the blessings that you can expect? Well, just like number 1 on the action table, you get a Knight's Respite.
Yeah.
No effect. But 2 to 3 get Jade Rains. Roll a dice for each unit on your order of battle that has a casualty score or has an injury. On a 4+, subtract D3 from that unit's casualty score or remove its injury, whichever is appropriate.
Is bonkers good.
Yeah, you have a hero that, took an arrow to the knee. Well, they can be back out adventuring in no time.
Oh, yeah.
So if you roll a 4, you get Sylvaneth Allies. During your next Path to Glory battle after deployment, but before the first battle round begins, you can pick up to D3 friendly units to make a normal move, but they cannot run. Ooh, that's good.
That could be really good.
Yeah. A normal move on D3 units at the beginning of the game. That's spicy.
That's strong.
That's spicy. Blessings of Gyran. This is if you roll a 5. Pick up to D3 units on your order of battle. During your next battle, Path to Glory battle, they have a ward of 6+.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Any day.
And then 6 is Gyronite Grit, which just is the same thing. You get to rank up a non-hero. And there it is. Zeal and Grit.
Yep.
Grit and Zeal. That's chapter 1. But we have so much to get through here. So now we have the branching quests. The Action Crusade and the Gyronite Crusade. Bill, I think let's just kind of talk overview of these.
Basically, what we have here is a quick flow chart, which is going to show you how to play this chapter. Okay, and the beauty here is they give you first battle, and then from that, you're going to get victory or defeat. It tells you that you're going to use battle plan Carve a Path from page 65, so it's obviously in this book.
Yeah.
And then on a victory, you're going to get a reward. Each unit on your order of battle gains 1 additional renown. On a defeat, you get nothing, but then depending, if you win, your second battle is Fire and Fury. If you lose, your second battle is Powder Burns. And then from there, you go to the final battle, which is Quell the Flames. So we're talking about a maximum of 3 games here to conclude this chapter. So it's not going to be like, we're doing this for the next 8 weeks. That sucks.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be 3 games. And I mean, quite literally, if you have a good, strong Saturday,
Yeah.
you can knock them all out.
Yep.
If you win, there are rewards. If you don't win, okay, you just start again. But the battle plans are quite simple. The very first one is in this book. If you win that battle, you play the ritual from the core book, and you are the disruptor. If you lost that battle, you play breakthrough, where you're the invader from the core book. And then they both feed into the final battle, which is Quell the Flames, which is an interesting little quirk on both of these, where this is a quest and a scenario.
Yep.
So it's a quest that you're looking to succeed. So this is how you actually end the chapter.
Yeah.
And so you have a very achievable goal on both of these.
Yep.
And I really love that. This is perfect. Small group of people, or, even, if you just wanted to do it in the store and you wanted to get rid of all the other stuff.
Yeah.
You guys a store could run, hey, this Saturday we're running this scenario. And then depending on win or lose, we'll split you up. And then the next Saturday we'll run the next one. And then the third Saturday, or whatever it turns out to be, you can run that final battle. That way everybody's playing the same game at the same time. And it's super easy to manage.
Yeah. I mean, you can do this if you really want the amount of time. You can do Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, /Sunday afternoon, and you complete the entire thing.
Yeah, you're done with this chapter.
It's absolutely fantastic. Gyro Knight flows the same way, right? But the battle plan you start with is lifelines out of this book. Then, depending if you win or lose or draw, you move to the next one, which again are from core book, right? So if you win, you move to sudden assault, and you are the invader. If you draw or defeat, you are playing the trap, and you are the invader. Right?
Which is a nasty scenario. Oh, I love that one.
So I like how it weaves in the core book here, making it so that way those plans aren't just like thrown to the wayside because we've got this update.
Yep.
And so the final one will be Cinderstorm for this one as well. But it's the same thing. It's just the 3-step process to complete this chapter. And there'll be some end of chapter outcomes, which give you certain rewards, depending on the number of crusade points you accrued over those 3 games.
Yeah.
Right? So refer back to your Cities of Sigmar book to see what you need to do to accrue those crusade points.
Yeah.
The top bracket for that is going to be 10 plus. We'll get to that in a second. But first, we got veteran abilities. So,
yes.
Bill, tell us what veterans in Akshi could hope to achieve.
Okay, veterans in Akshi are lame. No, I'm what they are is the very first one is for Sigma. This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle at the start of your charge phase. If it does so, add 3 to charge rolls. What? Okay, sign me up. Sign me up. Add 3 to charge rolls.
Holy crap.
I like that a lot, especially for, I'm thinking through these slow-moving humans and slow-moving, potentially
dwarves and all that.
Yeah, all that stuff. And adding 3 that's huge.
That's huge.
Next up, Holy Crusaders.
Holy Crusaders, Batman.
Wow. This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle at the end of your movement phase if it has been destroyed. What? Okay. If it does so, you can roll a dice. Add the number of the current battle round to the roll. On a 6+, you can set up this unit again on the battlefield, wholly within your territory, and more than 9 inches from all enemy units. Wait, what?
Yep.
Say this again. If I can use this veteran ability once per battle at the end of my movement phase, if my unit has been destroyed, it wouldn't be on the board in the movement phase.
No, it would be, but you could still use the ability.
Weird. I like it. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just mechanically, how does that work?
I mean, what's kind of crazy about it is turn 5 movement phase. You just auto bring a unit back from the dead.
And just go cap an objective and turn the game over.
Yep.
Oh, God, that is so cool. Okay, last ability is Defiant Invaders. This unit can use a veteran ability once per battle at the start of the combat phase. If it does so, add 1 to the attack's characteristics of melee weapons used by this unit in that turn while it is wholly within enemy territory.
Okay.
So
Okay.
chances are, depending on those scenarios you're playing, you're going to spend a lot of time in enemy territory. You hope you're spending a lot of time in enemy territory. So all three, very solid veteran abilities.
Yeah, Holy Crusaders is just cheese though, like to avoid casualty rolls and all that. Because I feel like Four Sigmar is the first one you get.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like Holy Crusaders is the next one you get. So that way, oh yeah, you destroy my unit in turn 3, and I'm going to make it to turn 5. Look at that. It's automatically back.
They're home.
Yeah. That's oof. Garnet Crusade. First one, veteran ability is Waste Not, Want Not. This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle in the combat phase if an enemy unit was destroyed by attacks made by this unit in that phase. So you destroy an enemy unit.
Yeah.
Then you use it. If you do so, add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target this unit for the rest of the battle. Kill a unit, get +1 save for the rest of the battle.
Yeah, I'm completely down with this.
Yeah, I am good with that one. Glory Hunters. This unit can use its veteran ability once per battle. At the start of the combat phase, if it does so, add 1 to hit and wound rolls for attacks made by this unit in that phase that target an enemy hero.
Ooh.
It's pretty good. It's pretty
good.
Good.
That's assassins.
Yep. Going hero hunting. It's time. Masters of their surroundings. This unit can use its veteran ability once per battle in the hero phase. If it does so until the end of that turn, add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target this unit while it is within 3 inches of a terrain feature.
Nice.
So, yeah, I mean, it makes so much flavor sense, right?
And you can kind of see the theme between the two different lists, but whether you're Axion or Gyronite, and the kind of opponents you're going to be facing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see how this is sort of tailored, but not so much so that it's like, oh, you have an instant win against Ironjaws, or something dumb like that, or you're just deleting giant units because it's fun. All right, so then we end the first chapter because we've played the 3 scenarios, maybe 4, depending on if you really are bad at stocking up points. So after fighting the final battle of your branching quest, which is, the thing we were talking about, the Axion Crusade branching quest, the number of crusade points you have gained will determine the outcome of your chapter and the reward you receive. Add up your crusade points, consult the table below. Okay, so chapter 1 has outcomes. If you got 0 to 4 crusade points, A, why are you playing? B, well, I guess you could lose all 3 games. Yeah,
I think you can still get crusade points. You should still be able to get some even if you're losing.
I think so. But anyway, you're downtrodden but not defeated. No, literally, by that time, you're defeated. Chapter reward. For the next 3 Path to Glory battles your army fights, once per battle, you can issue the Inspiring Presence command to a unit without spending a command point to do so, mostly because you're so bad at this game that you need that. You want to take the next one?
Yeah, this one is so good. A noble effort. Chapter reward. Every unit on your order of battle receives 5 renown points.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Every unit, I'm pretty sure that's going to level up anyone that's not already a veteran.
That is ridiculous.
Isn't that good?
I love it.
Isn't that good? I actually kind of like it more than the 10 plus, but go ahead and read that one.
Yeah. So 10 plus is Exemplars of Sigmar, which honestly is a low bar.
Gardas.
Exactly. Yeah. If he's the poster child, I'm pretty much going to be a hero.
Yeah.
Okay. So the chapter reward for 10 plus is pick 1 artifact of power available to your army and add it to your vault. I'd rather have the 5 to 9.
Yeah.
The 5 renown points. Let me tell you, that's way better. So
there's a note here, and you all should understand this. So it talks about the next chapter. You can continue your path to glory in one of 2 ways.
Yep.
First, you can choose to await the next chapter, and if you do so, you can continue to fight path to glory battles in the meantime, but do not lose or gain any crusade points until you start the next chapter.
Keeping it fair.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yep.
Alternatively, you can continue your Path to Glory campaign using the rules for the Dawnbringer Crusade and Battle Tome Cities of Sigmar. If you do so, keep your current crusade points as you work towards a total of 25, with which you can found your city. So you can move on to just do normal Cities of Sigmar book Path to Glory.
Yep.
Or you can just chill. But remember how the Path to Glory works for Cities of Sigmar. If you haven't founded your city, you're just adding units.
Yes.
You can't control territories, but
you are getting nutty.
yeah.
And let me tell you something. It's playing into this with that as your idea. I'm telling you what, it is super, super cool.
Yeah.
And I gotta tip my hat to them for being willing to go out on a limb and say, here's the deal. One of the players in this thing is going to have to be a Cities of Sigmar army player.
Mm-hmm.
Period. End of story. This doesn't, obviously, if you're a Neo, if you're any kind of organizer, you can change all of this stuff and fit it into your own campaign.
Mm-hmm.
But this just fits in with the book so perfectly. And all of a sudden you feel like you're actually a part of this big crusade that's going on.
Yeah.
And, you're not the part that was written in the story, but you're doing part of the crusade. And that is just so cool, the way they worked that all in. I was so pumped when I saw how they actually managed to do this. I know you texted me last night and you said, hey, this is, check this, or yesterday afternoon, and said, look at this. And I was like, okay, I'm a little busy, but yeah, as soon as I got inside, I started looking and I was like, oh my God, it makes the whole Cities of Sigmar crusade 8 times better.
Yeah.
And honestly, adapting these rules to any faction, super easy.
Yep.
Super easy. You might have to change the scenarios here and there. And obviously, where it says, oh, if you have a Grunstock Thunderer or a unit of Dwarven Pistoliers, okay, just change that to whatever's appropriate for the forces that are involved in your campaign.
Yep. And
you're done. So then we move on to a couple of battle plans that are called out in the actual quest chapters. So you have the Cinderstorm, the Carve a Path. Got to be honest, I haven't looked at these scenarios. I can't tell you exactly how I think they'll play out. To me, they look pretty interesting, but I can't give you any more than that. And then there's some just regular old battle plans in here. There's a couple for the Gyronite Crusade. One is called Lifelines. One is called In Bloom.
Yeah, so those are the two. Well, these are the ones you're supposed to be using, right? I was wondering if there was maybe a misprint on the Gyronite Crusade branching quest, whether it should be In Bloom as the battle plan for the final fight, because Quell the Flames Cinderstorm seems to be more action, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I
So-
think it should be.
We might have to submit a question to G-Dub on that to clarify for everyone.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably In Bloom.
Yeah, not Cinderstorm.
Yeah, because that's, why would it be battle plan 2? I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, so yeah, you have your 2 quests you're supposed to do for each side of the crusade, and then from there you have actually the story battle plans that you can play flagship down with the Gargants and the boys. Fort Gardas must fall, right? It will fall. Battle for Truce Break,
Which falls. Yeah, and these story scenarios just follow the book. I mean, they just follow the narrative that they have already established, the lore. So, I love it. Just absolutely love it.
Why read it when you can play it?
Right.
So that's the end of the Path to Glory side of things. You can see it's much different than anything they've ever done for Path to Glory for a particular army, right?
Yeah.
They're moving through this story, and I really like how that works. I'd like to see them really use that same creative space.
I'd love to see him double down on that and give something on that order to every faction. That would be so wonderful.
I agree. And then we get into the actual rules. I mean, just hitting things pretty quick. You got Trug and his Trog herd. Trug's got just the coolest model. I mean, his model's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that thing. Can't wait to build and paint it. So all this replaces it, like we said. Yeah, you get Trug's battle scroll. The Grunta Stampede comes in, which is okay.
Yeah, it's got its own rampages for monsters, which you kind of had to figure.
I would much rather just take them in normal Iron Jaws because we don't have any smashing and bashing in here.
Right.
Momentum seems like such a pain in the butt to do, just to build that momentum,
Yeah.
But I think, the big wins are the new, Bacon models, the Bacon Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Ard Boys, we get the actual new Ard Boys. We get their big boss. He's okay. Zogrok Anvil Smasher. He actually does what's written on the tin, so to speak, in the story, where he just has his green flame, and he puts it on the Gore-Grunta's weapons, and they go in and smash face.
Oh, yeah.
Which is such a good ability because you get 6s do a mortal wound in addition. On piggies, can you imagine?
Yes.
You get
Especially when
your-
they only have like 72 attacks each.
Oh, that's it,
Jesus.
That's before the mount.
Yes.
So you get your Brute Ragers and Weird Brute Rekkas. Ard Boys, 220 points for a pretty decent profile, slow moving. They get the Shield Bash now, which means they get to kind of hopefully check out some mortals.
Yeah.
The boss for them, the big boss for the Ard Boys, will let them do the smash on a 5+, I think.
Yeah.
So they just get like this little extra mortal wound hit, kind of like you might get from Ogors, because if Ogors did it, everyone else will follow because
You betcha.
they do everything first. But I mean, I think it's a good update to the Ard Boys. Must be in 10s, which I'm good with. Then they get the choices of weapons, but their base 3-up save is so strong.
Very good.
So strong. Broad with the stomp. Man, I mean,
boy.
this broke the internet because of Smash It All to Bits, where you get to pick a terrain feature within 1 inch of a Mega Gargant. On a 2+, it's destroyed and removed from battle. But before you do that, anything that's on it needs to roll a dice on a, what is it?
2+.
2+, they suffer D3 mortal wounds, so they're probably going to suffer D3 mortals.
Sure.
Then you set them up wholly within 6 of the terrain feature before the terrain feature is literally removed
Yep. From the
from
game.
the battlefield. So what does that mean?
Don't hang on the wood, Sylvanas.
Yeah. You could have, 3 Mega Gargants walk up and just put the little part of their base on the terrain. And then one guy rolls a dice, 2 up. Everyone can teleport and just make sure they're within 6 inches.
Yeah.
Wholly within 6 inches of that terrain and more than 3 from enemies. And then it's picked up. So yeah, remember that giant terrain piece in the middle? I just walked over and used it to fly.
To fly 12 inches.
God, who knows how far, and their bases are massive anyway.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Oh, and I took D3 mortal ones.
oh no, I'm a Gargant. That doesn't
my
matter
35.
to me. Oh wait, it's King Broad's stomp, isn't it? So if your army includes King Broad, he has a 5+ ward.
Oh, who knew?
So Broad's like whatever,
Yeah, sure.
right? And then you can give them the lucky shiny hat, so you can get a 5-up against mortals. Like this, it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
It is.
Now a lot of people are talking trash about Broad's decree. When the battle ends, you complete this strategy if there are no terrain features on the battlefield. And I think some people got it so wrong because it's like, it doesn't say you have to use Smash It All to Bits. You have a monstrous rampage
Yeah.
that you can use to destroy something. So
Wow, that's a crazy little grand strategy. That could be super.
super fun.
Wow, yeah. I mean, you're literally just going to have to go like a wrecking crew across the board,
And
which
hope
could
you roll.
impact your play style a little bit. But
Yep.
depending on the scenario you're playing, if there's enough room for you to be a little wide ranging, you could just have a blast with that one.
Yeah, I think you take something else.
I do
Grand
too.
strategy, but the battle tactics are dumb. Like here, King's Conquest, you complete this battle tactic if a friendly King Broad and one other friendly King Broad stomp unit are contesting the same objective at the end of the turn, and that objective was controlled by your opponent at the start of this turn. I don't know what's going to prevent. Well, actually, I do. But there's, I think, only one model that would prevent Broad and another Gargant walking up and not just taking the objective.
Not just having it. Yeah.
Um,
What would prevent it?
what's her name? The new Volga from Soul Blight, who makes monsters
Oh, right.
objective count 1.
Yes, that's right. She makes monsters not nearly as good.
Yeah, she's
Okay. I was like, what are you talking about? They're just going to go in there and,
Yeah,
oof. Yeah,
And,
you're definitely taking that at least once.
clear them out. Pick one objective on the battlefield you don't not control. You complete the battle tactic at the end of this turn. You control that objective, and that objective is contested by a friendly King Broad Stomp unit that made a charge move. That's real easy.
No brainer.
Yep, no brainer there. Then you have your Grunstock Expeditionary Force. If you were like, hey, I'll tell you what, I know all the boats are cool, but what if we just used the little boats? You're like, gun haulers are my favorite boat. This is the army for you.
This is the
Everything
army.
that's Grunstock, because it has to be Grunstock to be in this list. Anything is a battle line.
Oh, boy.
And it says friendly Grunstock Expeditionary Force units gain the battle line battlefield role,
Oh, Jesus.
including heroes.
Oh my God.
Including heroes.
Oh my God. No,
Yep.
that can't be.
Yeah, it just says friendly units.
Friendly Grunstock Expeditionary Force units gain the battle line battlefield role. Stupid. Okay.
Yeah, and they get like rapid redeployment. So if a gun hauler makes a move or runs, then you can have a little unit like hook on it and just kind of launch with it.
Yeah, go with it.
Grudge Settler protocols in any phase. Each time a friendly Grunstock Expeditionary Force unit has shot or fought for the first time in that phase, you can roll a dice on a 4+. They do it again. However, you must subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made this way.
Oh.
I just shot you. I'm going to roll a
Yeah, I'm gonna
4+,
shoot again.
and I shot again. Did I just unleash hell? Okay, I'm going to roll a dice on a 4. Oh, I did it again.
I did it again. I'm so cool.
It's redonkulous. It's actually pretty good. You're going to shoot like insane numbers with that expeditionary force. Blow them away. Complete this battle tactic if an enemy unit was destroyed during this turn by an attack made using the Grudge Settler protocols. That one's so swingy because it's like I have to roll the 4+ and I have to destroy you when I do it.
Yep.
That's so crazy. The acceptable profit margin for the grand strategy, I think, is good. When the battle ends, you complete the strategy if there's at least one friendly Grunstock Thunderers unit and one friendly Grunstock Gun Hauler on the battlefield.
Okay. You can
do that.
That one's under your control.
Yeah. I'm going to run away now and
I was
hide
going to
in
say,
the
you might have
corner.
to run like a little girl, but you can do that.
Point-wise on stuff, guys, just so you know, Trug the Trog King, 320. Ard Boys, 220. Magrunta Gouges, 180. Magrunta with the Hack and Crew is 270. The Tusk Boss on Magrunta is 380.
Wow.
The Magrunta Gougers, you can take them in units. And then, let's see, Zogrok Anvil Smasher, 160 all day.
Wow.
All day, every day, and twice on Sundays. Brute Ragers are 100 points. I didn't expect that. That was pretty cool. And the weird Brute Rekkas are 125. They're only 3 model units. But
Yeah. Not
so that's the long and short of it, folks. The Path to Glory is super cool.
It is. Wow. I just, if nothing else, even if the lore in this book was horribly written and just super bad, it would be worth it for that change to Path to Glory. That just, not only is it so cool for Cities of Sigmar, making me thinking about doing a Cities of Sigmar army,
Right.
God darn it, but also just for the freedom it provides and the framework that it gives, and perhaps it being a harbinger of things to come. See what I did there?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
All right.
I really enjoyed this book. It makes me want to play my Astra Sigmatarum army, where it's just all gunners and tanks and all that. I'm excited to see what New Dawn this book brings. See what I did there, Bill?
I
did you see that?
there.
You saw what I did
I
there?
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the next chapter, but this was Reign of the Brute.
Yeah.
And if you are a Cities of Sigmar player, this is a must.
Yeah, and let me
For
tell
you.
you flat out, if you are not any of the factions that are hitting this book, so if you're not Destruction and you're not Cities of Sigmar, you might want to hold off on this book because it's got nothing for you.
Yeah. Other than story, but you can go
other
listen
than
to
the
Doug.
lore, but you'll be able to watch Doug for that. So, take that as a caveat, but for what is in here, it is over the top good.
Oh yeah.
And just so well thought out. And some of the design issues that were made in the Cities of Sigmar Path to Glory all of a sudden make sense.
Yes, they do.
Now that they've been expanded on and you see this ongoing, a quest is a chapter thing.
Yeah.
And how that's all going to work together. And honestly, it just got my mind racing of, holy crap, all these new quests that you can just do the exact same thing with, but for, here's one for Night Haunt, here's one for OCR, here's one for Nurgle, here's one for anybody, Sylvan, here's a new thing for you. And they could publish a book with 1 or 2 of those just for each faction, and I would buy the hell out of it.
Oh, you know it. You know it. Folks, yeah, so that is the coverage of the Path to Glory section and all of Reign of the Brute, but mostly the Path to Glory section.
Yep.
I look forward to see what the next chapter brings for this story. Hopefully it's going to be coming out sometime in October with Flesh Eater Courts. And
Yeah.
I can only hope and pray that finally our Savior, the King of Summer, the Summer King, comes to save us all. But I look forward to seeing what we have next time, folks. So thanks for joining us. And if you're sticking around, we'll see you after dark.